All right, we're live. Welcome to the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I am John Lavenia. It is the final day of June. 2022 is officially half over. Hopefully you've gotten a lot done towards your intentions for the year. And if not, we're going to go ahead and help you do that here today, because second half is about to start. Of course, for our friends down under and across the date line, it is already July. Big week here. I know we've got Canada Day coming up. We've got, of course, Independence Day coming up here in the US of A. And I'm excited about all that. Independence Day, that's a big one. That is big. A lot of people don't quite understand. I actually saw a guy on the streets of I think it was Santa Monica, California, interviewing people, asking them what year the United States was formed. And unbelievable people that had no idea, not a clue. Other questions too, like who fought in the Civil War? What country did we gain independence from? No clue. Anyway, welcome to Modern Times. Today being Thursday, you're stuck with me. I've got something I want to talk with you about here today, which is kind of an add-on, an addendum to the conversation I had with you on Tuesday about crossing the Rubicon. Was that Tuesday? I think so. Crossing the Rubicon. Today, I want to talk with you about going to any lengths, which includes, crossing a point of no return. It correlates, doesn't it? Right? That willingness to have, to make a much bigger, or should I say more committed effort than one who is dabbling, right? Now I want to give you a bit of context on this. I've had multiple experiences in multiple environments, whether we're talking business and personal or personal growth, as it relates to, personal life. I've had plenty of experiences where I had the opportunity to back off. And I've noticed that when back off is still an option, when escape hatches still exist, and when there is difficulty that could come up, it is the tendency, not just for myself and not just for you, but is the tendency of all humans to follow the path of least resistance. This is actually something I learned when I was studying to become a diesel and automotive diagnostician, is that electricity, which is one of the things that we're going to be working with here, takes the path of least resistance, just like all you guys do. This was the instruction that we got. So if you think of it like this, if you had a positive and negative wire and you wanted the electricity that could be flowing through those wires to do some actual work, you would put something in between positive and negative, like a light bulb, a motor, machinery, stuff, right? But if you gave that electricity an opportunity to short, okay, to bypass the working item, in this case, we'll just call it a resistor, right? Because there is resistance when electricity travels through something that's doing some sort of work, okay? But if it's given an opportunity to short, in other words, it's not properly insulated, these two things touch each other with nothing in between. We have sparks, we have no work getting done, we have the destruction of the machine, right? So that's not good. That is ungood, okay? So we don't want that, because electricity will take the path of least resistance. The other consideration on all that is that we do have a certain amount of potential. You'll see how this relates to you here in just a minute. But let's say you had a battery, okay? So like a typical AA battery, right? You're all familiar with that. You put it in your devices, the kids' toys, right? AA batteries, hopefully you got 10 million of them in stock. That has 1.5 volts of potential. Potential is measured in volts. And so that is all that it could do. If it had too much of a load, too much resistance, that it couldn't, get its way all the way through, back around to the other side, right? Positive and negative. If there's too much of a load, well, then it's not going to make the work happen. The work won't happen, right? We need more potential. Oh, so we have multiple batteries. Now you guys know Well, you've got multiple batteries in most devices. I know some of the cheap Chinese wall clocks, you put one AA or one AAA in there and it goes for a year and then it dies. It's doing very little work, very little work. All right. So here's the trick though. You don't have a volt rating on your forehead, do you? Catherine, you might. Do you? In other words, you didn't come out of a factory that said, here's all the potential you will ever have. Use it up and die and be replaced. Think of that, right? If we, and some people, I guess, do, right? Live our life. We lived our life like a disposable battery with an assumption, because clearly you don't have a volt rating, okay? But with an assumption about such a potential, and that's all you're ever going to be capable of. That's pretty damning. And look, I would argue that there's a lot of people walking around like that. I mean, think of people who opt for let's say, do for me because I can't do for myself, right? I need the government or some outside entity to do for me. And this is the way it's been for generations in my family. And that is the assumed highest potential that the person could accomplish is dependency. I would have to argue with that, right? So that was a false voltage rating that was apparently adopted, bought into something, right? So that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay. The voltage rating on a battery is the truth, but man made that, right? And we know that is the potential of the battery, right? We made it, and that's the specification. Okay. But where's your spec sheet? Can you not turn up the volume, the voltage, the potential? Can you not do that for yourself? And the answer is yes, because when in those times where you don't have the back off, the escape hatch, the whatever, diversion. Okay. Electricity does that too. It can divert here and there, right? Path of least resistance. When you don't have that, when you do have a direct, narrow path to follow, insulated from, just like the wire, right? There's the copper and it's going through the insulation, right? It can't touch anything else. It has to go through the insulation, right? And so when you're insulated from all those, let's say, distractions, plan B, plan D, plan Z, whatever, right? When you're insulated from that, and when you've got a single point of focus, well, now we can use that already existing potential much more effectively. We're not diluting ourselves, but also the only way out is the way through. Here's the trick. The way out is the way through. So if you're in a difficult situation, to persevere, the meaning of which is through, severe, severity, to go through severity, to persevere, right, becomes the only answer. And we've seen countless times in our own lives and also in the lives of, great, the legends, right, where they've persevered and they've gone to any lengths because they had no other choice. And here's the interesting part about this is that once we've developed that resolve through necessity, or however it occurs, that a person decides on a course and that there is no plan B, right? Once that happens, perhaps you've also seen people fall in love with the mission. You can fall in love with the mission. It's in other words, rather than experiencing the resistance of it, and not that electricity has a brain, okay, but if you think about, here's the potential, energy, and it's flowing, here's the amperes flowing through the machinery, the motor or whatever, and that's resisting it, right? It wants to flow and the motor wants to turn, and so they're having their resistance. But let's say that you were committed to that, metaphorically, right? You were the electricity, and now it became like your mission to turn this motor. I'm going to turn this friggin' motor. In fact, I'm going to turn it so much they're going to have to cut some of the coils out of it, because I hope I'm not confusing you with electrical jargon, but because I'm going to turn this motor, damn it. Yeah, they're going to have to get me a bigger motor. Have you ever experienced that in your life where you not only became willing to go to any lengths, it became your mission? You were on a mission and it was hard and it was awesome because you got stuff done. There's a saying that the easy way is hard, the hard way is easy. Does that make any sense to y'all? Okay, so let's say that I have taken the path of least resistance, the easy road in many directions through various aspects of my life, and I've done that for decades. And now I'm confronted with resistance, the work, the big project, the mission, the whatever. Now that's going to be really hard. So the easy way is hard. The hard way is easy, right? This is right out of one of Aesop's fables, right? The ants and the grasshopper. Was that Aesop? Did he write about that? The grasshopper and the ants, right? So here's the ants doing the hard work, gathering, supplies for winter and what have you, right? And then the grasshopper is off, playing the fiddle and fiddling around, whatever. Okay. So this is the argument for doing the hard things and doing them consistently to the point where it's just habitual. And now you've got an easy winter. But the grasshopper, in fact, I think how that story ended is that the grasshopper went on public assistance. He went to beg the ants. He went to beg the able and the willing for his own sustenance, come the first snowflakes of winter. I don't know if you guys see Butch in the background there. Hi, Butch. There you are, buddy. You're a good boy. Yes, I know. Mommy should be home soon. Okay, great. He's hanging out with me today. He hasn't had it easy. 3 legs, some mysterious injury, can't control his lower body, which is hence the drag bag, and he's got a diaper on in there and everything else. So we've got a whole protocol for him. And it's a pain in the ass, right? It's like, all right, I'm going to take him out, right? We're going to get him to run around, hopefully get whatever's coming out of him, right? Put the diaper back on, put him back in the bag, get him back in the house, right? You just let the dog out, right? It's a whole bunch. But I'll tell you what, that hard way, now it's easy because guess what? I don't have to clean up off of the rug, right? So you're going to pay. You're going to pay. And there's the price of success and there's the price of failure. I think the price of failure is more. It costs a lot to fail. And you keep paying and paying and paying, right? The price of success, the hard way. Okay, so hard is easy. So back to the original, I guess the title of this is being willing to go to any lengths. I have seen in my own life, and I think a lot of you know that my original introduction to any sort of personal development and philosophy and right living, it was through 12-step fellowships, right? So here is a bunch of people who have been destroying themselves with alcohol, drugs, what have you, getting together, and one of the things that is talked about in those environments is being willing to go to any lengths for your recovery, your sobriety, getting your life in order, right? In other words, it's not the easy path for someone to completely turn their life around and live sober and all that, which is obvious if you've ever attempted to do that. Okay, so hopefully a lot of people here have not had that situation. Okay, but it gets real ugly. But being willing to go to any lengths, which a lot of people weren't willing to do. Right? I can't tell you how many viewings and funerals I've been to for people who just quite didn't have that willingness. Next thing you know, they've overdosed, they're dead. Now that's a life and death kind of a thing. Okay, it may not occur as that severe to the person who didn't quite commit, but the people who do commit to going to any lengths to live sober and get their life in order and all this, well, they understand the stakes. Okay, here's the thing though, how many of you are being faced with a life or death situation right now? Right, most of us are just dealing with daily stuff, right? Daily life, whatever. I mean, there's no saber-toothed cats jumping through your window. And I mean, you're cool, man. Everything's good, good, nice, nice. But are you preparing yourself to play a bigger game? In other words, if you have goals and you've been, looking at, observing, considering these goals as that would be nice. That would be nice. But I mean, it's a bit uncomfortable. I mean, I got to do something more, right? I got to 10x my effort. Okay. So then the goal can stay out there as a wishful, hope, whatever. But if you're willing to go to any lengths, and like we said before, you can fall in love with the mission of it, including the resistance, the difficulty, the severity, right? In other words, if you could soldier up, and this might be a good visual for you, right? Think of I don't know. I'll go to the Lord of the Rings. Okay, so here's a fantasy movie, all right, and here are the guys running through the forest looking for the pack of orcs, right? Knowingly and willingly hunting them down in order to exterminate them, right? So they are on a mission for that, because the orcs, captured some of their hobbit friends. So if you don't know the story, don't worry about it. But anyway, it wasn't just like, oh man, this sucks, we got to hunt these orcs, we're going through. No, I can't wait to take off some orc heads right now. Let's do it. All right. Now that might be morbid. Okay. But there was a level of enthusiasm that came up. And that was the result of transmuting. This is something out of Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill, one of the principles he talked about is the mystery of sex transmutation. Okay. And when he's, to give you a little bit of explainer on that, what he's talking about is that which gives you the potential for charisma and transferring enthusiasm and attracting people and all this. So that we can, he's using that word sex or sexuality as sort of the battery. Okay. And how does that, like, this battery can do lots of different kinds of work, right? It can do lights, it can do motors, it can do whatever. Okay. So same thing with your own potential for enthusiasm and being attractive and sexuality and all that, right? So that is the battery that we're talking about. And so to be able to be a very high achiever, one of the principles is and he called it mysterious. All right. So the mystery of sex transmutation. But one of the things is that you can transmute that potential from simply seeking sexual expression, biologically, to, being on a mission, connecting with your customer, right? To the point where they would never buy from anyone but you, right? So that's also a part of it. And he also said a lot of the people who have successfully done this, they have no explanation for it, right? Which is why it kind of remains a mystery. It's like, I don't know. I just, I get in front of the customer and, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. So those of us who've read things like Oren Klaff, Pitch Anything, and some of this other sales psychology stuff, which I've read a ton of, there is some explanation that's come from that. But whether you're in sales or not, or you're going to this or that end, it's the ability to transmute the already existing potential for enthusiasm into an actual demonstration of enthusiasm. In other words, getting on a mission. And now it's not arduous. Yes, persevere. Yes, difficulty. Yes, resistance. I got it. But all we see is our objective. We're on a mission. This is actually kind of cool, right? I got something to do with my life now. I'm working my ass off. This is great. I'm doing something. I'm having an effect. I have a purpose and I know what it is. How many people, when asked about, here's an interesting question. I'm sure some of you have asked it or have been asked it. What's your purpose in life? How many people do you think would come up with it on the spot? Here it is. You know what? I've thought about this for a long time. And here's my answer, right? Do most people think about that? So how can someone transmute, their potential, right, from something more basic or like gross or bodily, and when I say gross, I mean, material, hard, matter, right, into more ethereal, right, gross, ethereal, into a more ethereal pursuit, if they don't even know why. So in order to go to any lengths, we first have to have a reason to. And this is why so many, I've been around thousands, I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs who want increase, want more income, whatever, right? Lifestyle, Lamborghinis, whatever they're into, okay? They want that, and that's a consideration, and it would be a nice thing if it happened to them. But their resolve is lacking because they're vague on their why. You see how all this comes together? The whole idea of personal development, the whole idea of having someone be, do, and have more absolutely totally requires that they become bigger than they were before. They throw out that, imaginary, 1.5 volt battery, and they put in a damn nuclear reactor. Not easy, not comfortable. Okay. But that is, metaphorically speaking, what a lot of times people have to do, but they're not going to do it if they're vague on their why. And so where I've heard people bemoan the idea of personal development, hey, just give me the script. What's the secret sauce with the email campaigns and whatever, all the how-to stuff, which is good and valid, but totally secondary. Because they're just not going to transmute and impinge and have that effect that they are wanting to have without a big enough reason why. This is so elementary and yet so often overlooked. Why would you go to any lengths to accomplish something? If you don't have a good answer, then you're not going to. You're not going to. Let's stop lying to ourselves. You're not going to any lengths. Unless for whatever self-induced or outer-induced reason, you now have to. If you're able to give yourself a command, and it's so important to you, it's so valuable to you to accomplish some purpose. If you're able to identify that purpose, and you can, sometimes people have to sit for a while and really write this out and think and meditate. Okay, but you got an idea on what effect you're here to have. Here meaning planet Earth, your time in this body, whatever, right? And if you can then keep that why in front of mind, and then make decisions based on that. Will this move me in that direction? No? Okay, I don't need to do that. Will this? Yes? Okay, all chips on that, right? Now we can persevere. Now we can go through severity, and now we can do it in the insulation, just like the copper wire going through the insulator, right? We can do it in the insulation of purpose. Does this work for any of you? Is this making sense? I had no idea what was going to come out of my mouth until I just heard it, but these pieces are coming together right before our eyes. This is why the why is so important. This is why when somebody joins you in your network marketing business, right, we've got to know why, or they're just not going to do it. They're not. And we're going to have to remind them why. You told me this is why you're here. Yes, difficulty. Yes, resistance. I get it. You heard no. Your mom said no. Oh, okay. Yeah. We need to get on a mission. And then, persistence is just kind of an automatic thing, right? And I know there's steps to developing persistence. If you haven't been a persistent person up to this point, in my experience, if all I see is that outcome, if all I see is that objective, then of course I'm persisting. Of course I am, right? I shall not be denied. I shall not be denied. That's how you go to any lengths. What is it that you will not be denied? You need to have an answer for that. You guys have any thoughts on this? I'd love to hear them. We got Catherine and Daisy and Edward and Gail. And I think I could make a song out of this. Lindsay is here, right? Oh, we just lost a couple of people. We might be having technical difficulties. Hey, if you're seeing this on the YouTubes, go to jlsuccessmastermind.com, grab yourself a free membership, and you can join the conversation as well. Catherine, you have the floor.
I have so many things going through my head now with this conversation. And I actually just had a response today from a customer that articulated her why so perfectly, even though she's not actually looking to become, a builder or anything. But I was just thinking that, what I've got is what she needs.
Mm.
And I know why she needs it. So I have to figure out how to articulate that back to her. But I don't know. You've got so many thoughts going through my brain on different ways I could reach out to people and make connections. This has been great.
Wow. What if you just go ahead and grab your camera and like shoot a quick video for her and just tell her what you just told me? You know what? You've articulated like why we're in communication so beautifully. I want to communicate with you now. I want to show you behind curtain number 2 and how we can help you fulfill these purposes.
Okay,
I mean, just
that's
look at
perfect.
yeah. Just, no rehearsal, no script, turn on camera, click start. And when you're done, click stop and send it to her. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful. And do it in the moment of clarity, right? Don't overthink this. Right.
Yeah, overthinking is bad. I'm learning that.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta sound good. what's the right word? Authenticity.
Yeah. The 5-second rule.
That's it. Imperfect and done. Imperfect and done. Thank you, Catherine. Anybody else just get their battery charged or replaced with a nuclear reactor? I like the use of metaphor. For me, it helps it be more objective, right? I guess that's the whole point of metaphor, is that now I can see the correlation, but think of that, right? Here's let's say Lindsay, right? And she's got she's demonstrated, let's say, this much potential, which experts say, we only use like 10% of our mental brain potential or whatever. I don't know where they got the stat from, but okay, let's go with that. So she's demonstrated up to this point this much potential. And who put that label on that battery? I don't know, right? Can we just rip the label off that battery, or stop pretending we're small? Can we stop pretending we're small? It's an interesting game, being small. Now we're getting into more lofty like spiritual discernment here, but the whole idea of being small and having problems to overcome in the physical universe and all this, right? That's an interesting thing that somehow we opted in for, because the truth is, the truth is, energy is, right? And so you're not small. No, but if you were demonstrating pure potentiality, well, no game, no problems to solve, nothing, right? So it's an interesting game. Be bigger. How about that? Don't be everything. Okay, be bigger. All right. You get to the point where you're being everything, you're not going to be in a body anymore. So anyway, thank you, guys. I don't hear or see any other hands. I know Janet's having trouble getting on and off. Hopefully, hi Janet. Oh, she can't even hear me, or microphone's not working. All right. So then I guess we'll go ahead and let you guys do something with that. Right. So don't just sit on it. All right. Go execute. Go do something before you can talk yourself out of it. Go be big. Go be big. Go to any lengths. Okay. And then it'll be even easier next time. And the next thing you know, you're on a mission and you can't wait to go find and kill the orcs or something. Right. So if any orcs are listening, I mean no offense. All right. I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow.